What is going on, guys? Welcome into the Creed of Crypto live stream and podcast. We're on Spotify as well. This is Boi Crypto. I have here with me, as always, Crypto Ewok to my side. Friend and co-host is here. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, a ton to catch up on, actually, in regards to what Richard Hart's been talking about over the last week. We got a 47-minute audio stream from the guy to kind of break down, which I think is probably necessary. There's a lot of good stuff in there that took place Thursday into Friday morning, I believe it was last week. So we've got that with the PulseChain ecosystem still trying to break through a little bit of resistance, but still maintaining the green candles that we've had the last couple of weeks. Bitcoin looking strong compared to how it has lately, as well as the rest of the crypto market. If you guys are joining us right now, do us a favor on your way in and hit the like. We very much appreciate it. Sub to the channel. We do this every single Tuesday night now at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to talk about, is there going to be mass adoption for PulseChain in this cycle? We've got some of those high-level crypto influencers there on the thumbnail tonight, and it's going to be interesting. And some of the stuff that Richard did talk about in his audio last week, I think kind of leads us to the question, like, is PulseChain going to be as gate-kept as Hex has been over the last couple of years? So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. But Ewok, how are you doing this fine Tuesday evening?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. It's been a long week. It's just busy all around. Busy with my real job last week, so it was kind of hectic, but things have gotten a lot better this week. I had some people out on vacation that I was, always got to do their job and mine, so that's never fun. But back to normal. Things are looking good. Still got some green candles, still a little pullback, but yeah, overall it's looking really healthy.
And that's kind of why we're all doing all this, so we don't have to worry about covering for other people and having day jobs, necessarily the rest of our lives. So, although people probably shouldn't be quitting them, especially not now, or maybe not even at the top of the bull run either. So, we'll kind of examine that as time does move along. But welcome in everybody that is in here. We got DJ Moonboy as always, 10 tops in the house. We got Emmett. PulseChain Future Millionaire. I like that name as well. So we'll get into all the stuff you guys have to talk about tonight. So hit us up in the chat. Let's start off with just where BTC and ETH is. Just checking the prices on everything. BTC is at 35.3K, 35.4. We got ETH. It's been sitting around that 1900 number here the last few days, looking pretty dang solid. And yeah, the market, Chainlink's been on fire. I was talking to you in our fireside chat about that the other night, Ewok. I think I was anyway. I think it was a little bit. But yeah, so $13 it looks like for Chainlink. It's pretty much right on the outside of the top 10 of all coins now. So it's rallying up. So we got a lot of good stuff going on in crypto at the moment. Looking at the PulseChain ecosystem, Pulse just can't seem to break through that 30% discount off the SAC rate. The number 7's got it a little bit tongue-tied right now, but it did get up above it for a period of time last week. Rejected off it yesterday. It looked like it was going to break through, and then today, come back down, come back up. It's just kind of sitting right there between 6.5 and 7. So we'll see if we can get past that resistance there. Pulse X 80% down from SAC rate still, obviously, pretty much at 89% right now. We've got, or 79, that would be. Hex on PulseChain at 1.4 cents and EHEX at 0.8 of a penny. So total Hex is about 2.3 cents. Or so, 2.2 cents at the moment. So, what do you make of this, Ewok? I mean, I don't know if there was any kind of necessarily stern rejection off of that number for Pulse. That's kind of the chart I've been looking at the most. I know people to test the strength of this ecosystem have looked at either that or Hex, like Hex on PulseChain as the leader of the pack here as far as when we're going to go through resistance, then, whichever one does bust through is going to kind of pull everything else up with it. But what do you think looking at that? It just, should we be starting to get concerned that we're getting rejected off there? Because this would be if we did get rejected off that 7 number, that'd be the second time. I was looking at the Pulse daily chart the other day. Do we go back lower again? Or I really thought we were going to bust through it last night, and I put a big enough buy order in because I thought it was going to happen, and it hasn't yet. So what do you make?
So the more times you hit a resistance level, the weaker it gets. Basically you're buying through sell orders is what's happening. But this level is also a very strong level back here where it tried to break it as well and just continued to go further. So I see, it's tested a couple times trying to break through it. And, I think it's just a matter of time once things really pop off. The cool thing about it too is the liquidity that's tied with the other coins. When Hex or Pulse X or any of those go on any kind of run, it's going to yank this with it, and we're going to bust right through there. So I'm not too concerned about it. It's still looking healthy. We had a nice run up, and it was a nice pullback. Now we're going through again, hitting those same target levels where people probably, you know, I placed some orders, put some liquidity, did whatever they did, but it's going to be a little difficult, but we'll get through it. I'm not too concerned. These levels are nothing compared to what it can really do once this stuff really starts to run.
True, and it kind of goes back to our conversation last week about how even though we've had this crazy run up with those green candles you see there for about a week straight, we are still. I mean, Pulse isn't even back to sack rate. Pulse X is 80% down from sack rate. Like this is still, even though like the buy I made last night, I thought maybe we would smash through that number and we didn't. It's like this is still I'm okay to FOMO at these prices. Like even with this recent run up, I mean, we are still way down. We haven't even recovered sack rate for PulseChain. You can see the huge red candle after a certain news event happened on July 31st. We're still not quite up there yet. So yeah.
And this one looks the same way. These levels for everything is shaped pretty much the same. I mean, give or take a little bit of difference, but that pullback, it tried to make another run and then kind of tapered off. But this level is another interesting level, even for Pulse X. I'm sure if we look at, incentive might be a little bit different because it's just the kind of sell everything. Yeah, it's not even close. But see if we can see a similar pattern here with the Hex chart as well.
Yeah.
Yep. We're a little above it. Now here was the July 31st episode. Pulled back, tried to recover, and once again, we're in this level. Now we did break through it at this point here, but it's hanging on. So hopefully this side has turned to support where the other side is definitely resistance. So that's what I'm seeing. The big difference here is it's now bouncing off of that, and hopefully we can get another nice run up for both hexes and for the main coins, Pulse and Pulse X.
It would definitely make sense. Yeah. I mean, just after this crazy recent run up, it's definitely looking good at this point. It seems like we're on the back end of a lot of this drama on a lot of these bottom prices. And it is crazy to think. I mean, we already have Pulse, all these coins pretty much up 2x off of the lows already. So, an X is already gone. So that is very nice indeed. So yeah, we're still DCAing heavily. I mean, basically my plan, I've said it a million times on here, but I like to just basically be, 33% between Pulse X, and then both hexes, and kind of just DCA my way in there. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Real quick, taking a look at a couple of big, macro type stories that we really don't give too much of a shit about, and you guys probably don't either, but we should probably pay attention to them for the long term, see where this market is going. But the Fed last week, the day after we went off the air, stood pat on interest rates as expected, kept them where they are, no hike, certainly no cut, and described Q3 economic activity as strong, gave lip service to getting back to 2% inflation, but they definitely did sound less hawkish, Jerome Powell, than they have. And it is making me wonder, because usually he's going to talk more concerned sounding than he really is. And it led me to, could we maybe not even see any more rate hikes, at all? Maybe at this point. I mean, I think we agree. We've talked about this a million times. We have one more meeting, December the 13th. Neither of us think they're going to do anything there. But I am wondering if the next thing we see from them, other than continued pauses, is a rate cut rather than a hike at some point in 2024.
I don't know. I really don't know what to think. I still think we're going to get at least one more increase before it gets better. It's just That's the way everything else is looking. But
Yeah.
again, if the numbers correct themselves, and we've got the military industrial complex printing money in the background silently.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I, I don't know. I think it could help correct it a little bit. They may kind of ease their way out of it by not doing anything. I don't know. It's a weird situation. You can never predict what they're going to do. Um, because it really depends on how the markets react. And again, you don't know because people are very impulsive. You know,
Yeah.
things can happen on the turn of a dime. So you just, it's really hard to say. I don't see it happening though. I don't see a stale, flat, nothing burger until they decrease. I think we'll get one more raise of rates at least.
I don't know. I'm starting to think they're backing off. Just like being so familiar with Jerome Powell's, like the way he's talked for so long at this point, for them to not even really show much concern, I think they might be done. I mean, certainly a lot can
Yeah.
change going into 2024. But yeah, I mean, we got a long way to go. The new year coming and everything. There's going to be so many different things to look at. But certainly for this year,
Well,
I would say that they're done.
yeah, I think the way to prepare for it though is to plan on one more, and if it doesn't, then great.
Mhm. Right.
It's more bullish for everybody, but you know, or if they do raise it, they could turn around and put it back pretty quickly as well. So
True.
that's always a play too, and I think that would be met with a lot more bullish, you know, fanfare there at the end if that happened. If they do raise it and then the very next one they lower it back down, that could be a nice send off.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that happen as well. I mean, they're gonna do what they want to do basically with it, and yeah, we'll follow it into next year. I'm not really worried about getting too much deeper into that, but yeah, they're standing pat at least for the time being. The other story that people nationally in crypto cared about anyway that we don't really, and we were just talking off the air, you walk in, it's so crazy that it's like already seemingly out of the I haven't even seen it on my timeline really anymore. But SBF last week, guilty on all counts. Sentencing for him doesn't come until March of 2024. So we still have like 4 months until that. I don't think anybody will be paying attention to it by that point. But essentially, he's the fall guy for all these other corrupt entities that benefited with him. That's the way it really looks. I mean, you mentioned his parents to me. Obviously, everybody that accepted donations from him on both sides of the aisle. SBF is just the guy that gets to go, fondle his soap in the shower. So,
Yeah.
yeah, beyond that, my question to you, I guess, is what do you think this result means for crypto? Because he's now, whatever, the fifth or sixth, or probably more than that guy to go behind bars that really deserved it after the last cycle. All of them people that, as we'll get to, Richard Hart kind of warned people about a couple of years ago. But what does this result mean for crypto? And will we see these things in the next bull market? I mean, and we've said this before. We talked about this before. There's always going to be shysters, scammers. I probably shouldn't use shyster these days, but scammers and things like that in this market. Clearly, a lot of them are on this very platform you're watching this on right now,
Yep.
showing referral links and shit like that. But do you think to this level, maybe not SBF level? I mean, that's one of the biggest financial crimes in history, but will we continue to see similar type stuff like this? Because I think it was so highlighted to people since May of 2022 when Terra Luna fell down and Do Kwon and all this stuff, that until now, that's a good year and a half of people really being exposed to this stuff in news cycles, whether you're deep into crypto or not. So I'm just wondering, Ewok, I mean, do you think history repeats itself or does it look different next time? Because I don't know. I just don't think the same old song and dance is going to be so easy for some of these guys that are coming in to make a quick buck. But what do you think?
I think history continues to repeat itself. People don't seem to ever learn their lesson, unfortunately. And maybe it looks a little different. I don't think it would be on the scale that FTX was. I mean, you're
No.
talking $8 billion, 10 billion. And that's probably at the levels of the market right now. At the height of a bull run, that 8 billion probably turns into 14, if not more. So yeah, it'll happen again. People don't learn their lessons. People will shill reference referral links, to make money, get you into these platforms that are not good, where you give your keys to somebody else or your coins, and they promise you a little bit of a yield.
Right.
So, you pull your hair out trying to preach to the everybody how great of a yield platform that Hex really is, and they still don't listen. They still don't listen. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we'll see anything to that level unless Binance happens to get hit with something. Um, yeah, I think that was pretty much as bad as it can get for the current market cycle anyway, or the market state, I should say, with the market cap. So yeah,
Right.
unfortunately, they're going to get burnt. Some of these scams are going to come back with a different name, same code, but different name. The scammers will take advantage of the bull market, and that's how it always goes. It's just a matter of staying clear, managing your own tokens, and not picking up pennies in front of freight trains.
Right. Well, and it is a shame because we've got Gary Gensler and Chief Warren, Elizabeth Warren. They're going to act like this is crypto's fault. See, this is what the scammers do. This is what the hucksters do. This is what the fraudsters do. When, people like them were in bed with Sam Bankman-Fried,
Yeah,
and all of this stuff is literally the opposite of crypto. So,
sure.
to just bend the narrative that way, I mean, it's not going to work. Like, people are going to find out, I don't think these people really care about crypto at all. I mean, I don't think they are. Obviously, they're not interested in making any kind of policy on it or anything. It's just, it's not an issue that they really are going to dig their feet. What am I trying to say? I don't think they're really going to dig in on it too much. They have other things that they're really worrying about, especially somebody like Elizabeth Warren. Why is she assembling an anti-crypto army? I think she probably has other things she's trying to worry about, like raising the minimum wage to $25 an hour or something like that. But
Well, it threatens their model. It threatens their bank model. It threatens the, what you got to do is you got to look at the salaries of these people when they went into office and see what they're worth now. That's
right,
what it
yeah,
threatens. That's truly what crypto threatens. It doesn't have anything to do, they list all these terrorist activities that are done with crypto, and they're so far off on their tally or total of amounts that they said were done. I think they were like 99% off the total that
yeah.
they gave and what was proven on the blockchain. So, until people wake up and see what they're really doing, yeah, they're going to continue to try to fight it. But I think eventually, we win. I do.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely do too. It's just funny that these people are still going to try to bend it whenever they're actually in bed with the perpetrators of all this stuff. So that's
Right.
going to continue to
And I
happen. Go ahead.
and I agree with Sam here. But sometimes getting scammed is the best way to learn. Um, I,
Good point.
it's happened to me. I learned a hard lesson in 2017, and yeah, it's the best way to learn. You lose money and you have skin in the game. You learn what not to do real quick if you stick around. The problem is some people that get scammed don't stick around, and they're gone and they won't come back. So that's the
Right.
only bad part of the ones that get scammed, is they get frustrated and they don't come back or don't stay. So,
Yeah, good point. And you are right. I think Sam's totally right about that. I mean, like, it is unfortunate, and hopefully you don't get taken for too much or anything. But yeah, that's honestly the best medicine, because you know what to do and you damn well never make the mistake again. So, yeah, appreciate you guys being here. If you're enjoying the stream so far, hit the like for us. We appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new to the creed of crypto. Real quick, and then we're going to get into a real meaty topic here. But we saw the other day that Hex suddenly got a how to buy Hex section listed on Binance, of all things. Now, there are multiple errors in it, of course, and that it's mainly available on DEXs. I think it indicated some other things. But yeah, what did you make of that, Ewok? Is it anything to really, be, all that bullish about? It's just funny to see that kind of appear on Binance's site, of all things.
Well, I don't think it's anything to get too excited about, as long as it's not listed on their platform. I
Right.
think enough people have requested it. It's still ranked, whatever it's ranked. Is it 201 still? I haven't even looked because
I'm
I've
sure it
kind
is
of
on
you
CoinMarketCap.
know
Yeah.
I've kind of boycotted that whole page. I try not to even use it. I try to use Coin Paprika anytime I look at any
Right.
kind of rankings, because they're a lot more fair. That and CoinGecko, I really don't look at either one of them. But yeah, I don't think there's anything to make of it right now. It is good. There's a lot of eyes on that page, but um, until there's something solid and says buy here, you know, I wouldn't get too excited.
Yeah. Was an interesting note anyway. But more
Yeah.
importantly, so the Hex front end, go.hex.com. We saw this the other day. The normal front end page just totally vanished, gone, not the way that it used to look. And now we just have essentially links on there, different ways that you can run the Hex contract, the Hex code on your own from your own PC or desktop if you want to. And Ewok is bringing it up for us. Yep, right now. So, if you are you able to zoom in a little bit? I don't know if it'll make
Sure.
it look any better or not. If you do like a control and scroll or whatever. There you go. Yeah. So, yeah. So essentially, now get this: what you need to do. You're greeted with this page, and you think to yourself, "What the hell is going on? I wanted to stake Hex. I don't know what's going on." You're going to need to click one more button. And
Yep.
I hate to break that to you, but there's a couple of links down here you can click to actually get the smart contract running. But in all seriousness, Ewok, this a lot of people were like, "Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I guess it's even more decentralized, really,
Mhm.
because it's not right there." And I think a thing I think is good about this is all of the different ways that you can run that contract are now there for you, however you want to do it, whether you download one, access one of the links, just do it right there online, whatever. I think that is cool that it's all right there in one place and they're gathered together. But what do you make of some of these people? And by these people, I mean like one person, as far as I've really seen, but that are upset about this and think that this is a
Yeah.
worse user experience. And namely, if there is any good point, I guess, about it, which I don't even care that much about this point, but it would be that if you were trying to onboard a new person, it's like, man, you can't just go to go.hex.com and it's all right there and you know what to do. And how do I teach them that? What
Well,
does that mean? So anyway, yeah.
it's
What do you
not
think?
hard to teach them to click a button, right?
I
there's
wouldn't think
your
so, but
there's your go.hex.com website.
that didn't pop us for us. So you must just have it shared on whatever tab you're
Uh,
on. I didn't see.
really?
Yeah, it's just still showing the original page,
Oh,
but I know from experience. There you go. Yeah, yeah. All you do is click it, and bam, there you go.
it
So
will open a new window. So the IPF server is just it's a suite of protocols that are all designed to kind of be in a different place, right? So these are all hosted different places. They're all the same thing.
right,
And or you can run it right from your desktop. You get the zip file, save it to your desktop, and you have it on. You don't need internet. You don't need internet. I mean, you actually do. You need internet to connect to the blockchain,
right,
but you don't need internet to go to a website. So if the website were to ever get taken down by, for whatever reason, go.hex.com disappears, someone's forced to remove it or whatever, you
mhm,
have the server downloaded on your desktop. All you have to do is run it from there. It connects right to the blockchain, and you go that route. So that's really simple too. If you need instructions, they're right here. Literally, you
yeah,
click that and share this tab. So it takes you right to the GitLab.
yep,
And there's a whole README. And if you can't figure it out, ask your buddy. Somebody's going to know how to do it.
hmm,
Um, really not hard. But again, this site, there's nothing wrong with it. It's one click. People made way more of an issue of it than what it was. Um, and I think Hodl Dog started to do something along the lines with the ethhex.com, where they
Yes.
can do something very similar and have basically a front end to Uniswap with the hex pair right from your desktop too. So I haven't looked into that. I just saw it earlier today where they were playing around with that as well. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. And if anything, it may teach you how to do a little bit of, I don't want to say coding, but just making a front end. It's pretty basic as far as I could tell. Or use the tools that are right here for you. So it's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The more decentralized we are, the better. The more options we have. You've got all these community sites. Then down at the bottom, each one of these has a front end that you can use.
Like Go Pulse,
Go Pulse, Icosa, AppHex, Backup Hex, Hex Crypto. They didn't even list Maddie's is t-share.app.
Maddie,
There's even more than this. So, this is only part of them. We have so many different options to use. It's amazing. I always go back to this, where the community is just so darn smart. I wasn't even sharing that screen when I was looking at these, but it's pretty cool how the community has just kind of embraced this and taken it on their shoulders to say, we're going to build stuff. And, it's kind of what Richard said to do a long time ago. You want it done, you build it, kind of thing. So it's been pretty cool to see all these new things pop up. You got Hex.toys. They also have something that is in the works. They're looking at doing another front end kind of similar to what Hex.live was. I kind of saw something the other day. There was discussion of that. Hex.live was Firebun's creation, so that was pretty cool. Just all kind of cool stuff, man. It's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, it is amazing because you really, just from experience from you and I both looking and being at other communities and stuff, I mean, you really don't see a community build all these extra front ends for things and stuff like that. So it is definitely amazing and people should appreciate it. And going back to that original point, so the whole thing that's being argued about, like this front end change, and is it more decentralized? Is it not? And people complaining that, like, how do you teach new people, whatever? Why don't you just position? I mean, why even ever tell them, oh, at one point this was just the default page? I mean, like,
that's doesn't even need to be brought up, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of your fault if it's like, see, this used to look nice and aesthetically pleasing, and I didn't have to click this link and everything, but now it looks like this shit. So if I were you, I wouldn't invest it. You know what I mean? Like, just don't do it like that.
Yeah. All you got to do is say, okay, you're going to go to this page, and because it's so decentralized, just click one of these buttons and you'll get to where you need to be. It's, it's all about how we onboard our people. It's all about how we teach and what we say, really. I mean, you can look at it negatively and say, man, it's gone. It's not here anymore. Or you can say, well, it's one more click, but we are that much more decentralized to where this can never disappear now. It's pretty awesome when you look at it for what it really is.
Yeah. You just got to ask yourself, am I going to be a little bitch boy or a little rich boy? That's kind of how I look at it. And then the other argument that I saw is like, okay, well, hey, how far can we take this? If we're going to take this down, if this is going to be decentralized, let's just take Pulse X down. Like, why do we need Pulse X? Let's just make it so people can run that. I mean, don't you see a bit of a stark difference between taking down the smart contract, not taking down, I'm not trying to think of a better way to say it, but just kind of gathering all the ways in which you could run Hex versus an actual DEX like PulseX. I mean, those are kind of two different things, I feel like.
Not the same. Not the same at all. I mean, yes, granted, they're both front ends, so to speak. And if you really knew what you were doing, you could run them from, on Ethereum anyway, you could run it from Etherscan. I still haven't taught myself how to do that yet. I haven't really looked into it. Haven't had to. So, as far as PulseX, app.pulsex, it's not even the same. It's just you're comparing apples to oranges, and the oranges are going to win all the time with the HOA contract.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, so I really, I mean, this is a nothing burger. I mean, it's I wouldn't have even noticed unless somebody tweeted it, to be honest. So, yeah, I think overall it's probably a good thing, but some people aren't so happy with it. But there's this thing we've talked about this, you and me personally, but I think there's this dynamic where anytime something happens, like any kind of update, change, anything that could cause a riff or news or whatever, somebody has to be like the town crier or something. Like somebody has to emerge as you know, not to mention names, but I'll just mention names. Furu Finance, whenever, you know, the whole EX PX thing was going down. And then oh, what was the other? Oh, that Brandon B dude, you know, is always just kind of doing some kind of contrarian take. I think people just like maybe get bored in a bear market or something like that, and kind of want to do a little detour and get themselves some attention and be known for something, which, hey, whatever. I mean, Furu probably got some subs from that, but yeah, I don't know.
He
It is what
probably
it
lost
is.
some too.
Well, I'm
I
sure
just
he lost some.
I didn't see Gold Key going off the end, off the edge like that and making that big of a deal. You know, it was like
Mhm.
Richard needs to come on and debate me about this,
Yeah, that was
or
weird.
it's not like really, man. Like
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, yeah, that's where a line is crossed where it's like, I mean, yeah, he may not even know you exist or any of us for that matter. I mean, it's just kind of, yeah, it's a little over the top. It's a weird thing to expect, is all.
Well, you know, it was
But
just weird
whatever.
because I did really respect those guys. You know, they were part of the Maximus crew, and
Well, you can
um,
still respect them. I
I think
mean, it's probably
Nipcatcher
just
did a lot of the
yeah.
coding, and they were kind of like a team. But you know, I didn't expect it. That's all. And I think that's why it was one of the first things that he ever said that I really just totally disagreed with his
Mhm.
take on the whole thing. But it's okay. We're allowed to disagree, right? I mean, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of what we're here for, as long as we do it socially and democratically, I guess you could say. You know, talk
Yeah.
about things, talk them through, and you know, if you still continue to disagree, then that's your right. So
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's go back to some of these RH tweets and, of course, the big audio clip that we got last week. So, first off, and this I found this really interesting, and I could tell that he's frustrated. And you know, this is why there is a division between, you know, when there's like, oh, you're a Bitcoin maxi, you're an ETH maxi, you're a Hex maxi, whatever it is. This is why those things kind of perpetuate, I think, because he tweeted on the 1st of November there, so almost a week ago now, he, you know, tagging BTC, which he's done that in a lot of his posts recently, I noticed. And he was talking about how none of the like no larger crypto people, like mainstream BTC apparent fans of crypto, or even bothering with the SEC or IRS comments, the stuff that he's been tweeting out for a while now. Really just true DeFi people that are in this space. Obviously, hey, I don't want to be a hypocrite here. I mean, how many of us would have even known that these comments were going on and anything without RH really? But to, I think, people that are in the Hex community's credit, I mean, they went in and, you know, took action whenever he started tweeting about this stuff.
yeah,
But in the larger crypto spaces like BTC maxis, uh, when I see people that are just like regular crypto people now, I see a lot more of them tweeting about rooting for a freaking ETF for Bitcoin than I do about any kind of, you know, legislature or anything or laws, anything like that. It's just them rooting for a bastardized version of the thing that they used to love, apparently, having an ETF fund
right.
with, you know, JP Morgan, whoever, BlackRock and everything. So yeah, I mean, what do you make of that? Because like that is gross to me. Like, I mean, many of these people are just, I mean, Michael Saylor, I think, has been rooting for an ETF. Like,
Yeah.
what happened to these people? I just
Well,
don't understand that.
yeah, I don't either. You know, one of the key things that the RH always says is that crypto was invented to get rid of the middlemen, and it's kind of sickening how they've been injected right back in. It's not true crypto with all these
No.
things that are going on, and it will be detrimental. You know, when there's that many large scale investors involved, when they get their claws into stuff like this, they always manipulate it, and it's not going to be good for the regular bag holders who have a little bit of Bitcoin, who were told one day it'll be worth $1 million. You know,
Right.
it's not good. And to try and inject more things, more counterparty. I'll stick with Hex. I'll stick with this ecosystem where I can control what's going on in my own keychain. How's that
Yeah.
worded?
Yeah. We'll go with keychain, rabbit's foot. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you 100%. Like, let me just interact with a contract to do my own thing.
Yep.
And not be reliant on an ETF be passed, for my investment to go up. And just the fact that, like, are those people so blind to see and so dumb to see that that is likely already going to be priced in? We already saw it. We got, what was that? I don't even remember. This is how quick news goes in crypto, but CoinDesk or Cointelegraph or whatever it is, Telegram, I don't know. One of these things a couple of weeks ago tweeted that an ETF was approved or something, and we saw like kind of what the pump would look like, and then it basically immediately pulled back.
Oh yeah.
That's what
yeah.
it's going to be like whenever there is an actual approval. I mean, I don't think we're going to see some blast up to 40K. I don't know what everybody thinks, but everybody's been talking about this. Like, ETF has been like the main narrative for the major crypto market for a while. I just think they're totally overrating what's going to happen in the short term.
I do think we'll get a run up. I don't
Yeah.
think, I don't agree with you there. I think it will hit probably 45,000. But it's not
just that news. I don't know. I don't think so. Off that news.
With as quickly as it went up and then as quickly as it pulled back by, that was all within a half hour. And that was the people that were paying attention. There's going to be a lot that aren't by the computer, aren't reading Twitter all the time like we are. It's gonna go over the course of quite a few hours, rather than just immediately pump and then dump back down because they found out it was false.
Yeah.
But when is the first decision supposed to be made? Wasn't that sometime this month or next month, before the end of the year, though, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It's been pushed back so many goddamn times. That I don't pay attention
either way,
anymore.
it doesn't matter. It could get us to 45,000 though by the end of the year. I think that's what it would really take.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I think that could be reasonable.
It's not that far off. We're at 35 now, so
yeah. Well, neither is the end of the year, like 7 weeks. So yeah, I mean that's a lot of time in crypto, though. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't really care about it, but I mean, whenever it does happen, we'll see where the price goes. It's just, to me, my main point, though, going back to the RH thing, is just that it's disgusting that these people are not even taking the time to really look at legislation that could be developed, and they're just worrying about, again, some bastardized fund that people can buy their Bitcoin in. So weird, if you ask me. Another thing he talked about, so this whole idea, and he talked about this on the audio clip too, we're going to get to. So the idea of self-custody actually being a myth, for as much as we do say, not your keys, not your coins, that's one thing. You're actually talking about keys. But, Chief Warren, Elizabeth Warren, was speaking in Congress last week, arguing against the sneaky ways people use self-custody. So she's now been told this term. So people, of that ilk are now talking about the term self-custody and things like that. Literally doesn't exist, actually, though. You're not really holding your tokens. And Richard talked about this a lot on that audio stream as well. Mm-hmm. The fact that, it's just data on a blockchain, and you know the keys to it. The information that no one else knows, essentially. You know what? I was going to actually read that tweet. I had it bookmarked because I thought he said it really, really well. But that's the crazy thing, though, is like, because Richard, I could tell, couldn't even think of it either, how else to say it. But like, how else would you, what's a new term to really come up with here? I want to read his exact tweet.
Well, while you're looking for it, it's one of the things that back in the day he did state that a lot of these terms were invented or created to help people understand what was going on. Like the term wallet. A wallet is a physical thing, right? But a wallet in crypto is not really a wallet. You can't, can you make a copy of your real wallet? No, that's probably called forgery and you would get arrested.
Right.
But in crypto, you can. Like we got copies when PulseChain was launched. So there's a lot of terminology that could be used in some very nefarious ways by the government. However, all reality shows that it's not really accurate, and it's a lot of word salad.
Yeah.
We have so, and it goes deep too, right? Because if you don't custody things, these things aren't real. If you don't custody them, if you don't have ownership of them, how can they tax you on something you really don't have? All of these transactions from going from one thing to the other thing, technically, you're not really doing anything than signing some sort of okay or paying a fee to get it done, because you're not even doing the movement. It's the miners and the validators are the ones that are performing these actions for you. You can't even do it. You can request that it's done, but that doesn't always guarantee that it'll get done. So, the more you think about this whole realm of words that aren't really accurate, it could go deep. And until you turn something into cash, it's debatable. Is it even taxable? Is it a taxable event?
Right.
We're not obviously lawyers or accountants, neither, but when you think about it and dig deeply into what he's saying, a lot of that becomes suspect. So something to think
Well, we're
about.
not lawyers or accountants, but I mean, we can also see that, like, if a policy hasn't been made, it hasn't been made yet.
Right.
So, I mean, that is something you can do, and that's a lot of what's going on with a lot of the SEC stuff. Is it's kind of like, you guys go ahead and do something, and we'll tell you what the rules are, like, later on.
Well, and it's not
Um,
even that. They won't decide on the rules. They're going to leave it.
right.
And that's been the problem with the SEC lately, is they won't make any determinations. They won't make any rulings, or to give us any kind of clarity. And that's been the problem more than anything, I think, is the lack of clarity from the people that are making the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, 100%. And I wanted to go on with the last thing he did tweet about that day, November the 1st. So, was really, really railing against the SEC. Speaking of which, so
Yeah.
Richard's kind of feeling himself here a little bit. He said, "Well, the SEC has been ruled in violation of the law again. They've been ruled arbitrary and capricious a second time here." And links. One of these cases. You remember the SEC was recently ruled arbitrary and capricious by the court in the Grayscale case. Just basically continues to go on and dunk on the SEC over and over, and all of the losses that they're piling up recently, which we've obviously been aware of. Congress is even threatening to subpoena the SEC chairman, talking about Guzzler, of course. Apparently, someone is unhappy with the chairman because they say they're making major ad buy on Sunday shows. I was going to watch these in preparation for our stream tonight. I totally forgot to. But there are 30 and 60-second ads, apparently, from, I think, Gensler and the SEC on this link that Richard did share. I'm going to have to check these out. I totally forgot about it.
I haven't watched any of them either.
Yeah, but they're for like prime time, Sunday evening programming, which, like, when people used to watch TV Kids back in the day, that was like a big night for TV. None of us really do that anymore. But
So
yeah,
what's Sunday night prime time? 60 Minutes? Is that what's on Sunday
sure.
nights?
Yeah, all those shows. Yeah, all those shows. Yeah,
Stupid
stuff like
stuff.
that. Yeah, I'm looking at an ad right now. I'm watching this ad live. I'll share it in the chat. It's basically Gensler. Interesting. Yeah, it's Gensler refusing to answer Congress and stuff like that. I'll just throw one of these in the chat. I'm kind of really just looking at this live, so I haven't developed ideas on this yet. But yeah, Richard linked those and says even the SEC's own commissioners are dissenting, and this is true rather often, particularly Commissioner Hester Pierce. I don't know if you guys have looked her up, but yeah, she's been one of the most, I don't know if I want to call her pro crypto, but she's been like open to things. And as he said, dissenting against the chairman. Also, I guess Commissioner Mark Ueda. I've never seen his name before. Ueda, I'm not sure. So yeah, we have people, whatever it is, 5 or 6 people within the SEC that are not just, lining up behind Gensler, which is even, more heat around his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do have all of that going on. We know that they haven't been successful recently. The TLDR of his post is that the SEC has lost 4 of 5 recent cases in the Supreme Court. They've been admonished by judges, senators, congressmen, current SEC commissioners, previous SEC staff. They lost the claim that all XRP tokens were securities in court. That was last summer. They've been found arbitrary and capricious twice in just the last few months, and now they're in violation of the APA again. So yeah, there you go. So just highlighting all of it. I mean, why do you think? I guess like the angle I want to take with this is, why do you think he's so comfortable just going in on the SEC right now? I mean, other than that, I mean, hey, it doesn't take anybody. I mean, look around. Like they've just been a disaster recently.
Well, they have. They've been a train wreck, and I think there's a little bit of antagonizing going on. Maybe a catch me if you can kind of thing. You know, I don't know.
I don't know what it is. I mean, it's interesting that he feels so comfortable.
Doing this. I agree. It's kind of weird. And, you know, one of our viewers, I'm not going to mention a name, but said, you know, Richard's getting a little cocky. Like, I really hope they don't find some trumped up charges to bring on him like they've done to Tate and like they've done to some of the other folks who are, you know, detained for whatever reason. And you know, it does worry me a little bit, I guess. But Richard's not your normal, you know, he's not your normal billionaire. Like what's
the normal billionaire?
Well, I guess I don't know. I don't really know many. That's not really what I wanted to say.
No, I get where you're coming from. Yeah,
he's just a different breed, right? He plays 3D chess. You know, when he's like 3 steps ahead, so he's got some sort of plan to, like I said, antagonize them like that. It's just it is a little worrisome. I hope, you know, that something doesn't happen, or that they don't throw something, pay some people off to say things that aren't true, that, you know, may have happened 20 years ago. You just never know. But again, I don't worry too much. He's always seems to be a step or two ahead. But, you know, it does worry me a little bit.
I'm not worried at all, actually. To me, I feel the opposite, because I don't think he would feel comfortable doing all this if there were anything to worry about. You know what I mean?
Yes and no. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I'm not worried at all, because everything runs with or without him. But, you know, it's clear as day that when he is around, things are just way more bullish. People are more excited, and he doesn't even have to do anything but just show his face or give us a video or a audio. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be anything pertaining to anything, really. It's just him being there. He's so polarizing, and he's so educating. Like, I just always learn so much when I hear him. You know, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know.
You are definitely right. Like, he has created this, like, I mean, there already was with his products, obviously, but he's created this fever pitch mentality around his products.
Yeah.
Because of, like, honestly, his absence, like you just said, like, people see him again, or like that audio the other day. My God, people like went insane, and all these channels, which thank God they did do this, because it's terrible to listen to audio on Twitter.
Yeah.
At least the way that he uploaded it anyway. It's not like a space. But yeah, people posting it on YouTube, which was very much appreciated. But there you go again, like that decentralization of like the community is just like, oh, let's get this out there and get in a better format for everybody to listen to. Yeah, just the reaction that you see about the guy, you do not see that anywhere else in crypto. I mean, I do love Charles Hoskinson, but like, when one of his dimly lit streams, right, when one of his dimly lit streams pops up, or he's sitting alone at a cafeteria table or something at like a, you know, some kind of crypto event, not being able to hand out any pamphlets, it just doesn't create the excitement. Yeah,
agree.
Does. But Samuel said, I understand Ewok's worry, but I don't think we know RH fully yet. There may be a side of him we will discover this bull run. I don't know. I think I feel like we've probably seen.
I think we've seen about every side of Richard that we can see. I mean,
yeah. What else do you want to see, Samuel?
The back. Well, yeah, I don't want to see it. I've heard enough about it. I don't want to see it. But yeah, we saw the backwards quirky Richard with the purple suit and top hat doing self-help videos. We've seen the really long hair Richard when the days of the Sens Foundation, when he was doing volunteer work. We saw the extreme marketing, that he was doing, outrage marketing. And then we see the humble side of Richard when he's visiting his mom, installing a bidet. So we've seen a lot of
Red Bull cans to bidets.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of sides of him, and there's been some really cool interviews. I don't know if you ever caught the interview. I'm sure you probably have. There were two girls that were interviewing. The one girl used to be with Playboy, and the other girl was kind of hurt. That was a pretty real Richard. Like they got kind of personal. With
he talked about losing his virginity to a hooker in the back of a car.
That too, but there was a lot of things that were discussed in that stream, and it was, it's just, he is down to earth guy. Like it's pretty cool to see all the different sides of him. So I don't know that we'll see another side. I think we'll see the quiet side Richard maybe on this bull market, and that way he can kind of say, look, man, I haven't done anything. I really haven't done anything. And look what these coins are doing. It doesn't need me. It doesn't require me. We have this community that's freaking amazing. That's what's doing it. So it's just something to think about.
I'm with you. So let's really dive into the audio. If you guys are enjoying this stream, do us a favor, hit the like button. We do this every single Tuesday night. We call it the Creed of Crypto, usually talking PulseChain and Hex stuff, of course, and real DeFi. This is what leads us to kind of the point of the thumbnail. And like, will we see some kind of mass adoption and these bigger crypto influencers stopping with the gatekeeping of Hex, PulseChain, all this stuff this cycle? Some of the highlights from this audio stream. So what I just came away thinking right away after I listened to the whole thing is I just can't imagine even a hater of Richard, like the people we're talking about and that are in our thumbnail tonight, not so much BitBoy or whatever his name is now. But I can't imagine a hater listening to that audio and not coming away thinking that RH is one of the best people for and in crypto. I mean, you do not hear other founders talking about the key principles of crypto like he does. You don't hear anybody talking about that. I don't hear like Vitalik or nobody talking about that. And it just makes me wonder, like, these people, these influencers and stuff, they're not going to take the time to listen to stuff like that, I guess, from Richard. I don't know.
No.
But wouldn't you imagine they would want to listen to something like that and come away thinking like, okay, this guy actually gets it, and most of the other stuff out there is just basically horse shit,
You would think so. He did go into a little rant about BitBoy.
Oh yeah, he did a little bit. And like Hiley was weirdly speculating. He wasn't even really speculating, like claiming that there was drug use and all this stuff.
Well, I think there was admittance of him falling back. He was clean. He was on the wagon for a while, and he did admit that he fell back into some old habits and old ways. So, I don't think that there was any just speculation happening there. I think.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he admitted it. Now I don't follow him a whole lot. I try to stay away. It's just too much drama. Like I don't enjoy it. There's a lot of stuff that's out there just to get clicks, and I'm not a fan. But people like that still have a massive following. So yeah, will they capitulate and push some of these things, or at least talk about them? I think they will. I really do. I think the gates will start to come down slowly. I think it really kind of depends. I think it depends on. Well, there's not a whole lot of yield out there, guys. I mean, there's
not anything real. Yeah.
No, there's not. And you really have to teach people how to do it the right way. And I think the influencers are gonna Well, I don't know, and it's hard to predict what they're going to do because they always end up leading people to slaughter anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
They're not, here's the thing. It's like a censorship thing, and it's like
yeah,
like Richard. I mean, and this is what we like about it, frankly. But Richard isn't like in the club. You know what I mean? Like
no,
they want to, bankless, altcoin daily, and I look. I think like in real life, some of these people probably not bankless. They're pretty weird, but some of these people, we've seen altcoin daily with like I might be making this up, but with like Hexo or somebody out there. I know they've met up with some Hex people
RG,
and talk.
yeah,
RG,
RG3
okay,
and those guys.
perfect.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So, we know that they are apparently, not reptilian people behind closed
right.
doors, but at the same time, they've got literally millions of subscribers, which does pay you. They've got referral links, all these little safety nets from
Yep.
potentially actual criminals, like Wendy O the other day. And I know everybody loves Wendy O. What I don't know why, but look, I don't look at her as like being really all that different from a lot of these other plays. She was shilling FTX. She has referral links and stuff like that. Um, eh, I just don't have sympathy when people are like pretty much knowingly leading you to slaughter. I just
Yeah.
don't really, I don't really, regardless of what else you've done or other things you said, it's like, man, it's hard to say that when you've perpetuated that. Guy, Coin Bureau, you can go and look at his channel right now. Tons of FTX shilling back in the day, referral links, all that stuff, and has openly criticized Richard Hart, Hex, and stuff like that in the past. So it's like, what is your what's
Yeah.
your belief system here? I don't understand. Um,
Yeah.
do you have any
I
thoughts on
mean,
that? I don't know.
well, no, not really, because again, they're all about themselves.
Yeah,
A lot of them get paid to talk about things. You know, some of them have said, "Well, we don't do that anymore." We're not a pay to talk about something type of site anymore. Too many people got hurt with a lot of that stuff. I think they were just trying to cover their ass.
yeah,
But they still do it. It's done. There are other people that are going to do it on the next cycle. Hey, here's 2 million of this coin to talk about it. We'll give it to you before you'll be one of the first people that get it before it launches, or for whatever it is.
yeah,
But that's how they do it, man. And they talk about it and they tell their viewers that they think it's going to be a great coin, and then as they buy it, he dumps them, or he or she, whoever it is, dumps it on the audience. That's it. It's the cycle that happens every bull market, and that's why you see all these different videos about my top 10 coins to go to the moon.
yeah.
That's all they are. They're paid to talk about them. So,
Right.
BitBoy did say that he would consider reviewing Hex fairly
I saw that.
at one point.
I
I don't know if
mean,
he will
I'll
or
wipe my
not.
ass with that. I mean, look,
Yeah,
what is that
we'll wait
opinion?
and see.
I
We'll
mean,
wait and
yeah,
see, because 6 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was, he admittedly said it's too difficult. I don't really understand it. So,
mm,
but now he's going to review it. So, you know, I don't know. I don't
right.
trust. I don't trust them with.
It's so bizarre. I just don't understand it because, like, for as much Ben has gotten himself in trouble, I mean, there's literally live streams of him with a weapon and somebody he's cheating on his wife with in his
Yeah.
car outside somebody's home to confront them.
Yep.
But well, I don't know if I want to dabble in this Richard Hart project. Like, what the
Right.
hell? I don't understand, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what do you have to lose, or what do you
Yeah.
think
At
you're
this
gonna
point,
lose?
you've ruined your marriage. You
You've
know
ruined
you're.
everything. You have
Yeah.
no credibility.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I
about the
don't.
drama again. It's about the views. And Richard even said he did try to do some really good things. They went to the Bahamas to
Yeah,
figure out what was going on with SBF, and then to break the story and to help people maybe possibly recoup some money or whatever. And then the next thing you see, he's doing some shady shit. So it's
right.
you'll never know. You'll never know with a lot of these guys what their true intentions are, and some of them have RG has said it before. Some of these guys have handlers, like they're paid
Mhm.
to talk about certain things, and they're told that they can't talk about other things.
Yeah,
So that's one of the reasons why they don't talk about Hex, is because they're not allowed to. And another reason why when you see them out in public, they're good guys. A lot of them, they're just
the
doing their job.
muzzle's off.
Yeah. So
I hear
don't ever forget that these guys are not allowed to talk about a lot of things.
Yeah. Good point. DJ and Moon Boy saying the same thing, informants and stuff in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Here's the other thing. Now, maybe more interestingly, so RH said on that audio stream that he really believes that BTC will not decorrelate from other markets like other mainstream people have been acting. They've been saying that, oh, yeah, Bitcoin's going to break off and do its own thing and everything. Wait till the Fed pivots or this or that. Although it would be nice, and Richard said that. What do you make of that? Because, I mean, yeah, historically, he is correct. I mean, especially in the environment that we're in right now, rates being hiked up as high as they are. He talked about the stock market crashing soon, and especially after the Fed pivot, which, we don't know what that'll be, but, likely by summer or late summer at the very latest in 2024, we would think. So, yeah, what do you make of that? I mean, there's a lot of people out there. Maybe I don't know if it's the BTC maxis or who it is, but we all should be BTC maxis, I guess, in a way when it comes to this, because, you want it to move up while other things are going down, because generally it's going to carry the altcoins with it. Now, something that he did kind of couch in there with all these statements was that, Hex has done a 20x against Bitcoin in the past when Bitcoin was going down. Right. So we're keeping that in mind. So I really wonder when he says, because you don't expect it on RH on the stream. I mean, he'll call it like he sees it, but talking about Bitcoin decorrelating, Bitcoin going down with the rest of the market and everything. Does that necessarily mean he thinks that Hex and PulseChain will go down with it, I guess, is what I'm asking Ewok.
I took that when I was listening to it as well. I think Bitcoin will follow the markets. He's also said that he thought the markets would essentially crash after the pivot. But then he went on to say how Hex, this was during the COVID dip, did a 20x when Bitcoin was coming down. So I took that as he thinks maybe Hex, PulseChain, and his coins will do that again. When those things go down, ours will go up. So that's how I interpreted it anyway. I could be completely wrong or not understanding what he was saying. But the reason Bitcoin follows a lot of things is because it's tied to so many things now, right? There's the grayscale, there's all the other things, plus all the pairs of every coin with Bitcoin. There's a Bitcoin Ethereum pair, there's a Bitcoin Litecoin pair, there's a Bitcoin everything pair. So essentially those are all tied together. However, our little ecosystem is kind of not, or at least it didn't used to be. I think we do have a fair amount of volume with Ethereum now that is tied to a lot of things. We also have the bridge. So we have a lot of bridged in value from the other side. That's always helping with price maintenance and whatnot. So yeah, I took it as we could run. This community is special, and kind of we do our own thing a lot of times. And it's been a bear market for everybody. Let's see, will we come out of it a little bit different? I don't know. I think it'd be nice to find out. And I think it is quite possible that we take off when other things are pulling back.
Well, we've certainly suffered enough, so I think it would be a welcome sight.
That we have,
to see. But yeah, it was interesting to hear his thoughts there, and he talked a lot about obviously the prices coming down when the Fed does eventually pivot. But some people have asked and I understand why it's confusing. People are like, well, why is the Fed pivoting a bearish event? I don't understand that. Like, why, when things are getting back to normal, they've met their inflation goals and they're starting to pivot and cut rates? Why is that bearish? And it's just because of the fact that, the whole country has to then adjust for this change, for a little while. And it's only bearish in the short term. I think people take that as oh, hey, we've been so bearish during these hikes. What do you mean it's going to be bearish when they start to cut? Not necessarily bearish as in 2 to 3 years while rate cuts are going on. It's just
No.
more of a short-term thing for a little while after the cuts begin. And then
Mhm.
once we realize, like, well, this is where we are, this is the new environment we're in, that's when the markets have an opportunity to go back up,
Yep.
over this cycle. So
Agree.
yeah. I mean, what do you look at that time frame like, Ewok? I mean, like, after they do start to actually cut rates, I mean, how long do you think we might see bearish action for? Because I don't think it's really anything other than maybe a month long of downside.
Month or two. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it corrects pretty quickly. Like you said, people get tired of that.
Yeah.
Somebody makes the first move, and it just really, is it a month? Is it 2 months? I don't think it's much longer than that. I guess it could be 3, but I think that's
Right.
pushing it.
Right. Were there any other highlights? I mean, we kind of just de facto ended up talking about a lot of the stuff that RH said on that audio stream throughout
Yeah.
the episode. Were there any other highlights that you wanted to pull out of there? But because, he kind of stuck to the same 3 topics, but to me, it was just great that he came out and did that.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was just so great to hear from him again and get what his thoughts really are on all this.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely made it clear that he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Which was reassuring, I think, to a lot of people. I
Hmm.
didn't think he would ever go anywhere. He really always talks about Satoshi disappearing and a lot of these guys, where are they and what are they doing? Well, they're not anywhere to be found. And here I am trying to save the fucking world.
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and I think, that's a key takeaway from it. So I, a lot of the things that he said that, it's going to take a lot of practice to change our mindset, to change our verbiage,
Right.
with the
The self
wallets and the
custody stuff.
custody
Yeah.
and the things like that. And he even said himself, he's got to like really try hard to think about it, to not say things the wrong way. So,
I know.
will that all come back to be into play? Something that we may have to kind of do. Um, who knows? That's yet to be seen. But I thought that was a very interesting challenge, so to speak, to see how many people actually do change their how they word things and how they say things. It should be fun to watch, um, on Twitter and on streamers saying things. It's just so habitual now to talk about things the way we have been. It's going to be a hard habit, I think, to break.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm with you, and it is hard. I mean, I still think like holding your own keys, or yeah, not your keys, not your coins. Even that right there, really, technically, isn't true. So, yeah, it's just holding
Yeah,
your own keys. I mean, that still implies like holding your own knowledge, basically. I mean, I think
right.
that still pretty much checks all the boxes. So, somebody will think of something good. Hey, maybe we'll use ChatGPT, try to type this stuff in and say, like, how would you describe, owning your own private keys to a blockchain? Just see what it spits out at us. I don't
That'd
think
be
it'll be anything
interesting.
very good. Yeah, it will be. Um, do you want to hit this comment here from Luis? He just said, do you think it will be good or bad news on the 26th? I'm sure he's referring to the 28th.
uh I must be way off here. I
So
missed. Oh,
he,
I got you. I see it.
yeah,
Um, I don't think there will be any news.
yeah, I really don't either.
So we've talked about this a couple times, but yeah, I'll definitely cover it again. This is a phone call. It's a public call that is supposed to be attended by, um, Richard's counsel, and their counsel, to discuss a few things. But here's the thing: Richard, as far as we know, Richard has not been served with any kind of paperwork. There's nothing active. So, as far as I'm concerned, I think it would be foolish of his counsel to show up. Uh,
Well, yeah,
why would they show up when they haven't been served any kind of paperwork? So, I think it's going to be a big nothing burger. I don't think there will be any news, which is good, because then they're
yeah,
going to have to step back and say, all right, what do we do? Do we continue this? Um, are they following along? Are they following Richard along? I wonder, because that could be very interesting. Are they reading what he's saying about them, about all the cases that he has somewhat studied or at least knows about? Is it worth it to continue? Do they really have anything? The misappropriation of funds, that could be battled in a matter of minutes with the blockchain data, and say, nope, sorry, it's all still here. What you got? What else you got? So that's gone. That there's nothing there. The only thing that I could see any kind of problem with would be how the sacrifice was worded. They could probably say something about that. Again, there have been many other things that have come and gone. EOS was one of them, that they said was technically rolled out like a security, but here, pay a fine, we'll let you go, because now it is sufficiently decentralized enough that it doesn't matter. So, again, I really think this, whatever on the 26th or 28th, whatever day it is, I don't think you're going to have any news. I don't think there's going to be anything. So we are in the clear for the rest
Not
of the
only
year.
that, but I just simply don't care. I mean, I don't even give a shit that they filed a lawsuit. I mean, I'm buying these products either way, and I'm buying them at more discounted prices. So, yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, look at what their track record is. I don't really care what their opinion is, and
that's another
I don't
thing.
think anything bad will come of it. So, whatever.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Look at the track record that they've got against some of these other companies. They haven't won anything, so we got that going for us too.
Yeah, I'm really not worried about it. And none of you guys should. I mean, you do whatever you want, but I wouldn't be worried about this at all. Because even if something even this bad, isn't going to like ruin the ecosystem or ruin Richard or anything like that. It's like, what else can really happen?
And it's a civil suit.
I mean,
it's not even criminal. If anything, even if he does lose, it's a civil suit. Pay a fine and move on, kind of thing. That's the worst, absolute worst case scenario.
And not only that, tell me what to invest in instead. Like I'm just not really interested in many other things in crypto. And while people may be right that like you could throw a dart at some coins and make a good profit over this bull cycle right now. Sure. Yeah, that's true, but in an insanely muted one to what I think this ecosystem is going to do. So,
and
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, and one thing is for certain: when this market takes off, good luck catching up, to it, because I've seen it run before, and it just goes, and you're going to be like, oh shit, I got to get, oh shit, it's go, and it just doesn't stop. So if you aren't buying at these levels, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I mean, I wish you a lot of luck trying to catch up if you haven't been buying the dips,
and that goes back to the beginning of the stream tonight, like we were talking about,
yeah,
how we have had these green candles lately and stuff like that. We're still nowhere near back to recovered yet. I mean,
not.
But you are right. I mean, when things start moving, they're really, really, really going to start moving. But while we're taking this time to chill out after things did just move really well the last couple of weeks, I have been loading up for sure. And I'm doing everything I can to load up before the train really leaves the station. So,
and let's remind everybody about this too. The Pulse petition, I think it's, what was it?
Yes. Pulsepetition.org. I'm going to pull it up actually.
If you haven't signed the Amicus brief, please do. Again, you do have to list your name. But if you're not concerned about it, I'm not concerned about it. In the event of a phone call, you do want to have a real number listed. If they start calling and it's a bunch of fake numbers, they'll probably throw it out. But if they get people who are truly concerned, when they do, because they will call a few people, and it benefits everybody, even if you're not in Hex, Pulse X, whatever. This is for all of crypto. So.
Yeah, and that thing is up to 8,400 signatures now, which is about double what I saw the last time I was looking. So pretty incredible. So
I saw 6,000 the other day. So
yeah. So it's still moving along real good.
Nice.
Yeah, so check that out. I put that in the chat. That was coordinated by Crypto Coffee, and I forget everybody else. Some other people. Shoot.
And I noticed earlier Broke Boy put in there that you should lick the like button, but I think he meant click it. Don't
No, I meant lick. No, I did mean lick. I like to use different adjectives every now and then. You know, caress, lick. You know,
smash that like for us anyway.
Yeah. I try to change it up from smash, because somewhere along the line, it's like somebody out there just said smash is the word we're all going to use. So whatever, I like to change it up, but we appreciate you guys being here. I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Great show tonight. Great comments from everybody. We do this every single Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have a lot to talk about this month, and I'm telling you, I mean, again, not to belabor the point, but this train is going to leave the station at some point. We have a lot of talk on Twitter today I'm seeing of like, is the whole ecosystem going to 10,000x, or is it only going to do a 10x? So, hey, one thing I can, not assure you, but I think it'll be somewhere within those two numbers. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
You know, a lot of the influencers say 10x because they don't want to say it's going to 500x, it's going to 1,000x. Because then everybody comes back on them and says, it didn't. Why? It only did 280x. Why did you say it would 500? Well, if they say 10x, then I guess people are going to be like, you didn't tell me it could run like that. You know,
either way, a loser's going to be a bitch.
Yeah, somebody's always going to be happy. You're either going to be a rich boy or a bitch boy. So
exactly, yeah, we're going to use that all the time now.
I think so.
Although I will say, I'd much rather have somebody say 10x than 10,000x, because then you're just encouraging people to like, hey man, throw in one paycheck. As long as you do that, everything's going to turn out fine. I would much rather be being aggressive right now. So that's just the mentality that I would rather operate from. So. Yeah. Anything else, Ewok?
No, man. I think we covered a lot of everything. No.
Cool. I think we nailed it.
Pick up a t-shirt. We got some merch.
Yeah, pick up a t-shirt. We got some merch. We got some products tagged in here tonight. Just go to creativecrypto.com. We got a Hex BYOB shirt. We got the PulseChain Real DeFi. We got the PulseX Buy and Burn shirt. And then, of course, the Creative Crypto shirt with all three of the tokens on it. So check that out if you'd like to wear clothing on your body. We will be here again next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Crypto Ewok. This has been Boi Crypto. We'll catch you guys next week right here on the Creed of Crypto podcast.
Thank you.